Hello, everyone, and welcome. First of all, Happy New Year. I'm very glad you're here, and thank you for joining me for this webinar, Tapping into Your Power. So most of you have been on other webinars, and I do about 15 minutes of slides. No slides today. We're going to get right into it, but I need to tell you the agenda just very quickly. So tapping into your power is the topic, and I want to tell you a little bit about clarity. I'm going to go into that. Then we're going to do live coaching, and that means you can ask a question. That means you can raise your hand. Rick, thank you, Rick, for my super duper tech support, is going to call on you, and maybe we'll do coaching. I'll ask you a question. You'll ask me a question. Maybe we'll do some tapping. It's a lot of fun to do this live coaching because you need to get clear. Then I'm going to tell you about an opportunity to work with me in a coaching program that's brand new, never been offered. And then we'll go back to a little bit of coaching. Rick and I have a hard stop somewhere between 4:05 and 4:10. So I promise you we will not go over that. I don't like those webinars that go for 90 minutes or 2 hours. I can't stay on. All right, so let's start with tapping into power, into your power. So your power is in your clarity. And I found this out the hard way, which means I did everything but be clear. And I saw what was happening. I was draining my resources. I was draining my energy. I was not being clear and not taking the right steps. So to me, the absolute first step and best step is being clear. Crystal clear about your decisions, about your desires, about your wants, and about your needs. If you don't know those, someone else will direct or influence your life, and you'll be making decisions that aren't yours, and you'll feel unhappy with it. Again, first guinea pig, I know all about it, because I've done it. So I do think that empowerment is through clarity. And sometimes clarity is difficult. And that's what the coaching is going to be about with you all. The coaching is, why are you unclear? What are you afraid of? Why do you have a conflict about being clear? What, my favorite questions, what is the upside of being not clear and too much incoming information and, oh, I don't know yet? We do a lot of that. And you wouldn't do it if it didn't solve a problem. That's the extent of my slides, okay? If being unclear was not protecting you, keeping you safe, or making you go under the radar, which you prefer, you wouldn't do it. So what I'm here to do is to help you, first of all, identify why you're not clear. Because you can't work on it if you don't know why. So why aren't you clear? What are the conflicts? What are you afraid of? Then we can work on it. Then I can give you some direction, some coaching, and I'll do tapping with some of you. Very short turns. I want to get to as many people as possible. All right, and then I'll talk about the coaching program, the brand new opportunity, and then we'll do a little more coaching. All right, I kind of like not doing 15 minutes of slides. I think it's better. All right, I am ready. So Rick, you give the directions so I don't screw it up, how they raise their hand and how you call on them.
Sure. So remember that this is being recorded. So when you raise your hand on a computer, look for the participants button that's underneath the screen that's displayed. Click on that, and then there's a raise hand that's right there. If you're on the telephone, *9 raises your hand, and *9 again lowers it. If you need to, if you can't find either of those, drop a note in the chat window. Okay, and we are going to have more people raising hands than we'll likely have time, at which so I go by both intuition and order, right? Is that good for you?
Well, that's great. Hi, Muriel. Hi, Tracy.
Yeah. And if you are going to be on the call, you are invited to turn on your video as well. That can be helpful. So we're going to go with Bernie first. Hi, Bernie.
Oh, wow. Hi.
Hi, Bernie. Nice to see you again. Hi.
Hi, thank you. Wow, I just hopped on a little bit late, but thank you. So I'm not sure what we're doing, actually.
So Bernie, very, very quickly, I want to ask you what your blocks are to being clear, and then I'm going to give you a little bit of direction, answer your question, or do some tapping. We'll have a very short turn, but if we can't identify why you're unclear and what it's protecting you from, you can't get through this problem. This is what I've worked with people for years. You must know why you're unclear, why you're blocking yourself. So go ahead.
I am unclear as to why I do not value myself more. It seems that I have a lot of no self-compassion, love, worth, deserving. And I think it's from having some traumas early in life. I don't know, but it's for whatever reason, it seems to, my feelings about myself seem to be blocking me.
So your feelings of lack of deserving, low self-esteem, then that makes you not take the right steps and not follow through?
Yes, because I feel intimidated sometimes by others.
Okay. So we cannot do trauma work on this call. So I'm not going to. If you want a referral, you let me know. But what I'm going to address is the idea that you're unclear. Well, first thing you said was, I'm unclear about where it comes from. I don't think you are. I think you're pretty clear about where it comes from. Somehow in childhood, you learn not to value yourself. So I'm going to do a little bit of tapping on that. That's it. I'm going to keep it that simple. Because what we know is if you valued yourself, you would move forward, you would be clear, you would take risks, and you would take the steps you need to take. When we don't value ourselves, we block. We block everything. It's that simple as far as the brain and human nature. So everybody, if you're new to tapping, please check that out, but you could just follow along with me. All right, tap right here, Bernie.
Okay.
Even though the fact is I don't value myself. This is good for everybody. Tap whenever I'm tapping with someone, go ahead and tap along. Even though the fact is I don't value myself.
Even though the fact is that I don't value myself.
And I think I know where it came from.
And I think I know where it came from.
I choose clarity now.
I choose clarity now.
Even though I'm unclear in my life because I have low self-esteem.
Even though I'm unclear in my life because I have low self-esteem.
And I wouldn't have low self-esteem if they didn't teach that to me.
And I wouldn't have low self-esteem if they didn't teach that to me.
I accept who I am and how I feel.
I accept how I am and how I heal.
2 fingers of your dominant hand, eyebrow point for everybody who's new to the tapping. I don't value myself.
I don't value myself.
Side of the eye, no wonder I'm not clear.
No wonder I'm not clear.
Under the eye, I don't value myself.
I don't value myself.
Under the nose, if I valued myself, I would be clearer.
If I would value myself, I would be clearer.
Chin, I know where this comes from.
I know where this comes from.
Collarbone, and I have some more work to do.
And I have some more work to do.
Under the arm, but I want to be clear about my decisions.
But I want to be clear about my decisions.
Top of the head, because I'm worth it.
Because I am worth it.
And that's clear to me.
And that's clear to me.
Good, deep breath. Everybody, that was one of those very strange ones to measure, so I didn't do the 0 to 10 measurement, and that's okay. Bernie, how did that feel to you, just to talk that way, talk the truth?
That feels good. It totally made sense, and it completely resonated with me.
So here's what I would recommend. Keep getting some trauma work if that's what you need, and I have referrals for you if you do. Keep getting the trauma work, but you know that if you valued yourself, your behavior would be different. We know that, human nature, hundreds of years, we know that.
Mm-hmm.
So keep tapping on, I don't value myself, but I want to, I am worth it. I choose to be clear, like keep going, because once you're clear, watch out people, watch out for Bernie, because once you're clear, you will just move forward. But if you don't value yourself, you won't be clear. It's not interesting to you to be clear.
Yeah, thank you so much, and thanks, Rick, too.
Thanks, Bernie. Glad you were here.
You're welcome.
That simple, that short, everybody. I want to get as many of you on as possible, but that's the truth. What I'm saying is the truth about human nature, psychology, human beings, and the brain and the body.
Next, we have someone who's on the telephone. You're in the 619 area code, and you raised your hand. Could you say your name?
Happy New Year. This is Gloriana.
Hi, Gloriana.
Hi. So good to talk to you.
Nice to
my
hear.
issue. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. My issue is similar, but what I do is I put myself last. So I will take care of someone else first, or spend the energy on taking care of my elderly mother before taking care of me. So I need to put myself first, and be more clear with that and taking more positive action, helping myself on a daily level.
Good. Do
Does
you
that
feel,
make sense?
yes, and what I hear behind the layers is that you feel guilty. You would feel guilty if you put yourself first. Is that true?
Yeah, I guess that's true. I do feel guilty because I always take care of other people before me.
Yes. So it is the same issue as Bernie. This is so funny. I didn't know this would be the first two issues. It is similar to hers because if you valued yourself, you would find balance. You would take care of your elderly mother when necessary, and you would stop putting yourself last. It was a great sentence, Gloriana. I put myself last. It is about self-value. Clarity is about self-value because when you respect yourself and have compassion and feel you are valuable the way other people are, you'd never put yourself last. You'd never put your best friend last, right? So,
That's
Gloriana,
true.
I know you know how to do the tapping. You can't see me, but you can hear me. So I will narrate for you. And everybody else, even if you think, oh, this isn't my issue, you know what? We all have a little bit of these issues. So go ahead and tap. Gloriana, side of the hand. Even though I'm sick and tired of putting myself last.
Even though I'm sick and tired of putting myself last.
And that's an indication that I don't value myself.
And that's an indication that I don't value myself.
I deeply and completely love and accept who I am anyway.
I deeply and completely love and accept who I am anyway.
Even though it is clear to me that I don't value myself.
Even though it's clear to me that I don't value myself.
And I think it's about guilt.
And I think it's about guilt.
I accept who I am and how I feel.
I accept who I am and how I feel.
Start tapping on the eyebrow point. I feel guilty whenever I take care of myself.
I feel guilty whenever I take care of myself.
Side of the eye, that sounds pretty clear to me.
That sounds pretty clear to me.
Under the eye, and if I didn't have so much guilt, I might value my own choices.
And if I didn't have much guilt, I would value my choices.
Under the nose, I don't value myself because of my guilt.
I don't value myself because of my guilt.
Chin, when I feel guilty, I put myself last.
When I feel guilty, I put myself last.
Collarbone, and I'm sick and tired of that.
And I'm sick and tired of it.
Under the arm, no wonder I'm not clear.
No wonder I'm not clear.
Top of the head, I have these competing needs.
I have these competing needs.
Good, take a breath and I'll explain that. Take a deep breath. So Gloriana, if we have competing needs, one always wins by a little bit, even if it's 60-40, and your need not to look selfish, not to have the guilt, is winning over, hey, wait a minute, I get some airtime too. So you've got a 60-40 or a 55-45, you've got something going on, and that's what I meant by competing needs. And if we're afraid to value ourselves and afraid to be clear, we will not be powerful, right? We will not take the right steps. We will not do ourselves a good service. We will do ourselves a disservice, okay? So Gloriana, homework for you, keep tapping on that until the guilt is so low. Now, everybody, I could have measured her guilt, I didn't. Keep tapping on that until the guilt is so low, you know what? My mother's fine, I'm taking care of her, I do a lot, and it's time for me to have an hour for myself, or it's time for me to brainstorm about my business, or it's time for me to do something good for myself. It is about clarity, but both you and Bernie have been pretty clear what the issue is. And that's really important.
Wow. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
Okay, Gloriana, lovely to have you back on a Zoom call.
Oh, thank you. Happy New Year to everyone, and to you, especially you.
Happy New Year.
All right. There's someone, RC. You've been unmuted. And if you want to turn your video on, that would be great. You don't have to.
Yep, no one has to turn their video on. RC.
Hey, here I am. Can you hear me?
Yes, but it's pretty muffled, but yes, go ahead. So RC, what is the issue for you? What are you afraid of about being clear? What are you protecting yourself from?
Okay, so I do not trust, this stuns me. I do not trust my vision. It's big, it's kind of crazy, it doesn't make sense, so I second guess. And I know I'm doing that on some level to stay safe, but I want that done.
Okay, so now I want you to finish this sentence, RC. I don't trust my vision because, this is excellent for all of you with clarity issues. I don't trust my vision because, what's the why?
Because it is big and vulnerable and I go after it and it doesn't work and my people are like, told you you're a disappointment. Underachiever. You are, we have knitted brow and go, underachiever.
So those are all past experiences when you have a big vision?
No, I've never had a big vision before, but I have, although I've done a ton of tapping and a ton of EMDR and just a ton of work on letting go of, the childhood messaging. So I feel like well along that path. But this vision of what I think I'd like to do, where I'd like to be, doesn't fully make logical, secular sense. It might make very spiritual sense. And so I feel vulnerable putting it out there, I think.
Okay, so RC, I want you to answer this. I'm afraid to be vulnerable. I'm afraid to be vulnerable because if I am, they will.
I will look a fool.
Okay. Everybody, isn't that enough to make you stay under the radar and sabotage yourself and go back to family childhood messages?
Yeah.
Is the answer. The answer is yes. Afraid to be vulnerable. 0 to 10, RC, could you measure that? 0 to 10, I'm afraid to be vulnerable.
On this particular topic, on this vision, on getting clarity, it's pretty high. It's an 8.
Good. Good meaning, whenever I say good, that means we're on
Right.
it.
No, I know. Yeah.
Okay.
I
Side
understand.
of the hand, everybody please with RC. Even though I'm afraid to be vulnerable.
Even though I'm afraid to be vulnerable.
And that's why I second guess myself.
And that's why I second guess myself.
That's why I won't be clear.
That's why I'm scared to be clear.
I accept who I am anyway.
I accept who I am anyway.
Even though my issue is about vulnerability.
Even though my issue is about vulnerability.
And I'm just afraid to stand out.
I'm afraid to stand out.
What if they hurt me?
Yes, what if they hurt me?
Again.
What if they hurt me?
Again. Just say the word again.
The word again. Yep, again. What if they hurt me again? What if they mock me again? What if they're disappointed again?
I accept who I am and how I feel.
I accept who I am and how I feel.
Good. Eyebrow point. I'm afraid to be vulnerable.
I'm afraid to be vulnerable.
Side of the eye. What if they hurt me again?
What if they hurt me again?
Under the eye. I'm so afraid to be vulnerable that I block my clarity.
Oh my God, I'm so afraid to be vulnerable, I block my clarity.
No wonder I don't trust my vision.
No wonder I don't trust my vision.
Pinpoint. That makes it safer.
Yes, that makes it safer.
Collarbone. To stay under the radar.
Yeah, stay under the radar.
Under the arm. Then I don't have to be vulnerable.
Then I don't have to be vulnerable.
Top of that. No wonder I sabotage myself.
No wonder I sabotage myself.
Vulnerability feels scary.
Vulnerability feels scary.
Good. Deep breath.
Brilliant. Thank you.
Okay, so measure the number. Do it again. I would tap everybody. We're all afraid to be vulnerable because we're afraid to be hurt again. Hi, Mickey. Hi, everyone. Hi, Monique. Please do what RC was doing. It's good for all of us. Got it, Monique? Paula, how do we raise our hand online on laptop?
I replied to that.
Okay, good. Thanks, RC. We're going to be all over the map because there are many reasons we're afraid to be clear, which are many reasons that we block our clarity. And if you want success, I swear, this is about success and abundance, which means happiness, which means passion, which means I love my life, okay? It doesn't mean the car in the garage, okay? This is why we block ourselves, because we're afraid. We're afraid to be hurt. We're afraid to stand out. We're afraid of failure. We're afraid of success, all sorts of things, all right? Okay, I put my glasses on so I could see you. Linda, your cat is darling. Oh, okay, we apparently have a kitty cat on. And Amy says there's no option to raise a hand on a smartphone. Okay.
I've already taken care of those.
Okay, sorry. Okay, I'm on my
No
own
worries.
All right, everybody, next, and what time is it? 3:20. Good. Next live caller, and we'll do a little bit more of that.
Ann Kaufman?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm doing pretty well, except I do have a issue that's bothering me with the tenant.
Good. So what we want to know is, what are you afraid of? Why are you afraid of being clear? What's bothering you? With the tapping, everybody, you know what we do is we neutralize the stress and distress that's bothering us. Then we become clear thinking, clear headed, and then we say, oh, now I know what to do. So go ahead, Ann, just tell me a little bit about what's going on.
Well, I've got a man that I've asked to move out, and I don't
Ann, I can't hear you.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, I've asked one of my tenants, where there's 3, to move out because he's keeping it from being harmonious and a
Yes.
good living situation.
Yes.
I don't trust that he's going to do that because he still hasn't found a place, and
Okay.
it's causing a lot of distress.
Okay. But you were clear, right? The good news is you were very clear and made a decision and asked him to move out.
I did. I made it very clear. Yes.
Okay.
And
So-
he hasn't paid the rent this month.
Okay. So what we're left with, everyone, sometimes we make really good, clear decisions and people say, yeah, and they're not listening. Okay. But at least we made the decision, and you want to give yourself credit for that. This is a big deal, and to stand up for yourself in this way. All right. The discomfort, it doesn't sound like much guilt. It sounds more like distress that he's not going to follow through. Is that right?
Lack of trust in him, and the fact that he's making the whole condo miserable for everybody else.
Okay. All right. I don't trust him. So everybody
Yeah,
say,
but he doesn't see it that way. He thinks,
no, of course not. So everybody say this: when you have that discomfort where you don't trust someone, a partner, a spouse, a business associate, a friend, a neighbor, when you don't trust them, of course it brings up so many disruptions in your system. So even if you think, wait a minute, that wasn't my main topic, it doesn't matter. It's Ann's main topic, and we all have a little bit of that in us. So tapping on the energy system is going to be productive. And I'm not going to measure it, okay? Side of the hand. Even though I don't trust him to move out,
even though I don't trust him to move out,
and I'm afraid to confront him again.
and I'm afraid to confront him again, though I'm really not. But
You're not. Good. I deeply and completely accept myself anyway.
I deeply and completely accept myself anyway.
So, Ann, while you keep tapping, if you're not afraid to confront him and ask him to move out again, what is the problem?
I don't think he's going to move out. I don't feel any control over what he does.
Okay, everybody, this is key. When you don't feel any control, what happens? Our heads want to explode. So this is clearer, and for me, even though I don't feel control over what he does,
Even though I don't feel control over what he does,
at least I can feel some control over what I do.
at least I can feel some control over what I do.
Even though I don't feel any control over what he's going to do,
Even though I don't feel any control over what he's going to do,
I accept who I am and how I feel.
I accept who I am and how I feel.
Eyebrow, I feel agitated in my system.
I feel agitated in my system.
Side of the eye, I've done the right thing.
I've done the right thing,
Under the eye, but I feel agitated.
but I feel agitated.
Under the nose, and that's normal.
And that's normal.
Chin, I'm having a normal reaction.
I'm having a normal reaction,
But collarbone, but it makes me uncomfortable.
but it makes me uncomfortable,
Under the arm, and I can handle that.
and I can handle that.
Top of the head, it makes me uncomfortable, and I can handle that.
It makes me uncomfortable, and I can handle that.
Good, take a deep breath. We want to be comfortable, more comfortable with our discomfort. Because when we're uncomfortable, we won't be clear, we won't ask again, we won't protect ourselves, we won't do what we need to do, that is appropriate. Okay. Rick, I'm having a verifying file issue. Do we care?
Verifying what kind of file?
Verifying backup and sync from Google app. Sorry, everybody. Just want to make sure I'm
Just
not going to.
don't care.
Don't care. Okay. Good. So, Anne?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. So you've done the right thing. You've followed through and you don't trust him. It's a normal reaction. He's not shown trustworthy behavior. It's okay. But if you get your discomfort down, down, and down, you'll be clearer about the next steps. I'm not going to give you all the next steps because it's your life and I don't know what they are. But I can make you.
I don't either.
And you won't when you have this much distress about him.
Okay.
Okay, so that's the homework. That's the immediacy of the homework for you, okay?
It's to bring the distress down.
Yeah, bring it down and then you can think clearly.
Okay.
Sounds small, but it's not.
It's not.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Issy.
Hello. How are you?
Hello, who is this?
My name's
Izzy.
Issy.
Issy.
Hi, Issy. How are
Carol,
you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm well. What can I help you with today around clarity and blocking it and needing more?
I believe that I'm blocking clarity because I'm afraid to make a mistake if I make a decision. I've got a bunch of options,
Yes.
and I'm afraid that if I choose one, the others would be negated, or I make a mistake, or
Yes. All right. This is a very common one, everybody. The fear of making a mistake will block us from being clear. So, Issy, on the 0 to 10 point scale, when you say, I'm afraid I'll make a mistake, I want to get a number from you.
I'd say about 7.
7. Okay. Now I want you to say, I'm afraid to make a mistake again, and let me know if anything happens to the number.
I'm not even sure I can say that sentence. I'm afraid to make a mistake again, and then we're at 11.
That's what we know, because nobody would feel afraid of making a mistake to the point of 7 and not getting you to move forward unless it had happened to you before. Unless you've somehow made a mistake, perceived that you made a mistake, someone judged or criticized you. So if we can get the 7 and 11, if we can get them down dramatically, we're going to really move forward. The 11, Issy, how many years ago or weeks ago or months ago was that?
Last year, about 18 months ago.
Okay. So what I would say is that you still have the disruption from that, air quotes, mistake in your system, which is making you as high as a 7 now on taking another step. Okay. So I'm going to combine this a little bit with the old one with the new one. Okay.
Okay.
You know tapping, so just follow along. Everybody with Issy, this is phenomenal. All of your answers have been, okay, side of the hand. Even though I'm afraid I'm going to make another mistake. Issy, can you hear me? Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Sorry, I missed that.
Okay, side of the hand. Even though I'm afraid I'm going to make another mistake.
Even though I'm afraid I'm going to make another mistake.
I still feel burned from the last one.
I still feel burned from the last one.
And I don't trust myself.
And I don't trust myself.
I deeply and completely love and accept myself anyway.
I deeply and completely love and accept myself anyway.
Even though I'm afraid I'll make another mistake.
Even though I'm afraid I'll make another mistake.
And I'm not over the last one.
And I'm not over the last one.
I deeply and completely love and accept myself anyway.
I deeply and completely love and accept myself anyway.
Great. 2 fingers, eyebrow point. I'm afraid I'm going to make another mistake.
I'm afraid I'm going to make another mistake.
Side of the eye, but I didn't realize it was connected to last time.
But I didn't realize it was connected to last time.
Under the eye, that was horrifying.
That was horrifying.
Under the nose, I did not like the negative attention I got.
I did not like the negative attention I got.
Chin, I'm afraid of making another mistake.
I'm afraid of making another mistake.
Collarbone point, no wonder I'm not clear.
No wonder I'm not clear.
Under the arm, if I make a decision, it might be wrong.
If I make a decision, it might be wrong.
Top of that, and I still feel burned from last time.
I still feel burned from last time.
Good. Deep breath. hard stuff. We all have stuff in the past that way. So Issy, there's no right or wrong answer. When you think of the old one that got you, you said, whoa, 11. How does that feel now?
It doesn't feel like a whoosh.
That's proof that we've actually gone into the energy system, the electrical system in the circuitry, and we've taken out that hyper vigilant old trauma of the brain and the body. So that's awesome. Now, when you say it for now, because you told us so clearly, I'm afraid to make a mistake because if I make a choice, I could make a mistake and negate another decision. The part you started with, that's not the past, how does that feel now? I'm afraid to make a mistake was a 7.
I'm about 5.
About a 5. Awesome. You've got some homework to do. I want you to keep working on this. What complicates our current life is our past. Of course it does, even if the past is only a year ago. So Issy, you need some more work on the old one. I was ashamed, I was hurt, I was embarrassed, I feel like a fool, whatever it is. And then you're going to watch the 7 go, the 7, which is down to a 5. You're going to watch that go so far down. You're going to like, oh, I can't wait to make the right decision. And you will be so clear, you will know what is the right decision.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay?
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Awesome. All right, everybody, we're getting into the heart of this stuff. We're afraid to make a mistake. We're afraid to stand out. We don't want them to push us. We don't want them to criticize us or to be jealous of us. This is what happens. This is why so many people sabotage their clarity. I know it can look silly to you when you're doing it to yourself. You think you're kind of absurd, but it's so common. I would say 100% of the people have this issue. All right. I am ready, Rick, unless you want me to answer any questions over there.
No, I think we got those covered. Gail?
Hi, Gail.
Oh, hi. Thank you for taking me. Okay. One thing is, I was going to say, it's a couple things. I get distracted. Like I'll make goals and then I kind of forget. I have a lot of notebooks and I don't hold on to I don't keep the focus.
Yeah.
But then I also came up with a couple things like the thing about people being critical, but also something comes up and if I'm really engaged and I don't want to say assertive, I'm engaged and working together with other people. Sometimes something will come up that makes me angry. It's like a trigger, and then I might react, a trigger. I get angry with them about something and I might say something and then I have to take it, it's not good. So it's happened, it happens in each job, maybe once or, projects.
So here's where I would connect the two for you, Gail, is that you're saying, I lose focus and that's easy to do. Well, of course you do, because you just told us the upside of losing focus. You just told us the positive effects of not being focused and engaged. When you're focused and engaged, it feels dangerous and risky because you'll get triggered by somebody and you'll have a reaction and then there's a confrontation, right?
Yeah, and I always regret the way I react. I could understand clearly what the problem is and have compassion for myself because I know what the problem is. It's my reaction from the trigger that.
Okay. So there's going to be two sets of.
I regret.
Yeah, there are 2 sets of homework things for you to do. If you take the stress out of your nervous system down enough and your angry reactions down enough, you'll feel more in control in a healthy sense of that word and not react like that. Even if somebody is acting atrociously, you won't put yourself in danger of reacting in a way that's confrontive, hurtful, inappropriate, or whatever it works. So you've got that homework. But what we're going to do together, everyone, Gail is talking about the upside of being unfocused. I know that sounds crazy to some of you. No, we all have an upside to not being clear, or else we would be crystal clear and we'd be moving through the month of January in this year and we'd be moving forward. The end of the story. That's it, people. That's to me, it's that clear because I've seen thousands of people do it and I have done it myself numerous times. So Gail, we're not going to number it. I don't feel the need to. So I want you to tap here. Everybody tap along with her, please. Even though it seems safer to be unclear,
even though it seems safer to be unclear.
I deeply and profoundly accept myself anyway.
I deeply and profoundly accept myself anyway.
Even though it feels dangerous when I'm engaged.
Even though it feels dangerous when I'm engaged.
Something always happens.
Something comes up.
No wonder I don't want to be clear.
No wonder I don't want to be clear.
But I accept myself anyway.
I accept myself anyway.
Eyebrow, but I don't accept myself.
But I don't accept myself.
Side of the eye, I'm afraid of my own reactions.
I'm afraid of my own reaction.
Under the eye. Then I have to suffer with regret.
Then I have to suffer with regret.
Under the nose, I'm afraid of my own reactions.
I'm afraid of my own reaction.
Chin, so it seems safe to my body and brain to feel disengaged.
So it feels safe to my body and brain to be disengaged.
Collarbone, but I'm tired of not keeping the focus.
I'm tired of not keeping the focus.
Under the arm, I'd like to work on my reactions so I can be engaged.
I like to work on my reaction so I could be engaged.
Top of that, I enjoy being engaged.
I enjoy being engaged.
I like the energy.
I like the energy.
I just don't like being triggered.
I don't like being triggered.
Good, deep breath. One of the main things we can do for ourselves is understand what kind of person or reaction triggers us and then neutralize it. Get it out of your system. Go, oh, isn't that interesting? That person just did this wild, crazy thing. You lose control. You feel terrible. You feel, just overreactive. And then you have the regret, Gail, that you said. So Gail was very clear that there is an upside to not being clear. And she spelled it out for us, okay? If you do not change that upside, nothing's going to change. Okay? So Gail, keep tapping on, I'm afraid to be engaged. I'm afraid I'll overreact. Again, we have another again, like with Izzy. All right? And if you keep working on that, then you're gonna understand the risk benefits there. You're gonna say, hey, I'm better now. I don't react that way. I don't have to feel regret and embarrassed that I reacted. I like to be engaged and I want to keep the focus. Gail, you've got a lot to offer. You all have a lot to offer. Keep the focus so you can offer your best self to the rest of us.
I mean, I could think of some, like, on one hand, and examples. Should I go through each example of when it happened and tap through it? Like specific, because I can clearly remember in different situations.
Yeah. You won't need to, because the nature of EFT is if you do the top 2 or 3, it usually collapses all of them. So take 2 big ones and go ahead and do it.
Okay.
And the regret and the afraid to, and that word again is really important.
Okay.
I'm afraid I'm going to blow it again.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good to see you, Carol. Thank you.
I love doing Zoom in person and
You're awesome.
not just audio.
Thank you. And Rick too. Hi, Rick.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you. All right.
Okay, so it's time. We said at 40 past. Would you tell us?
Yes. Okay, everybody. So I've just concocted a new opportunity, which is a brand new coaching program. I've never done it in this way, this short. And some of you have asked me for a price point like this. You just can't manage the upper packages I have, and I understand that. So this program is called Power Up. And imagine how much impact you could have in your life if you felt empowered through clarity, alignment, and inspired action. So those are the 3 modules. It's only 3 weeks long, okay? Module number 1, the power of clarity. We're going to do a lot more work on this clarity. I'm going to do a live video call for you. I'm going to do a pre-recorded downloadable audio on all these issues around clarity. And I'm going to give you a meditation. I'm going to pre-record a meditation because being still and quiet really helps us get clear. And sometimes when we're still and quiet, we don't like what we hear. Then we have something to tap on. So module number 1, the first week, all about clarity, okay? The power of clarity. Module number 2 is all about alignment. Now, you all know this. You might have a desire to be clear, but if you're afraid of it, right, you've got the competing needs again. So if you're not in alignment, you absolutely cannot get what you want in your life. The happiness, the money, the projects at work, the health, the body, whatever it is. So module 1, the power of clarity. Module 2, the power of alignment. You must be in alignment. And the best example is, people say, I've got to have the money to pay my bills. I have to. And they try to attract finances that way. The misalignment is right there. So I'm going to help you with that. Again, a live weekly call. A lot of fun doing this by video, and it'll be on replay. Then a downloadable recording about alignment, and I'm going to do some coaching there and what to do and what not to do, and then do some tapping for you as well in that audio download, and another meditation about alignment, how to get into alignment, how to let go of what's in your way. Brand new, okay? Module 3, the power of taking inspired action. You know the impact when you don't. Okay, I don't know how many times I've taken uninspired action. It's somebody else's idea. Somebody else thinks it's a good thing to do. I'm coming from fear or I'm coming from scarcity. I hate it, but I've done it a lot. And when I figured out the feeling and I could recognize what an inspired action feels like, everything changed. But you don't take inspired action without clarity and alignment. Okay, so that's module 3. Same thing. We'll have a video call once that week, available by download. Then recordings. I'm going to do recordings about feeling the difference between an inspired action and a non-inspired, motivated, pushing action, and meditation. So you get lots of resources, lots of support. I have 6-month programs. I have 3-month programs. I have a year-long program. Sometimes we want to just cut to the chase, do it quickly, have resources and tools. Okay, so it's called Power Up. carollook.com/power-up. Okay, really clear, short, 3 weeks, 3 modules. I'm going to give you as much support as I possibly can. We're going to have a good time. I always have a good time in my programs. More importantly, we're going to get a lot of work done. This is the work, you guys, it's 2020. This is the work you need to do. It's the work I continue to need to do. Every layer, every level up, you need to continue to do it. And it just feels really good to me. It feels right. This felt like an inspired action. It wasn't like, oh, let's do another New Year's resolutions. This felt like, oh, I need to do this program. And I need to do it in this amount of time, just for the rest of the month. Okay, it's only 3 weeks. And it's going to be a lot of information. And once the program is over, you have the information for the rest of your life. So if you want to do a 10-minute tapping sequence on clarity, you go back to the recording that's given to you, that's offered to you, and you get to do it again. All right. This is a lifelong process, right? But if you keep getting clear, getting in alignment by finding out how you're out of alignment and taking inspired action, boom, 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 boom. I am where I am in my career and my personal life because of this work. Okay, it's not an accident. It's not because of the family I came from. It's not because of any good luck. This is because I worked my rear end off on clarity, alignment, and inspired action. So if this is appealing to you, check it out, carollook.com/the word power-up. All the details there, a lot of details. It starts next Tuesday, the 14th, all right? And we're gonna have a lot of fun. We're gonna get a lot of work done. So I think that's enough about the opportunity, Rick, unless you want to add anything.
Yeah, we'll also be sending you the link by email as the follow-up. The replay will be on the same page. There'll be a link there as well. And I love the energy of Power Up. Just feels so right with this kind of focused drop in. It feels very different to me than a traditional way of going about motivating and setting resolutions and the like. And I'm delighted I'm going to be on the calls helping in this role, but also tapping along and doing the homework as well. So thank you, Carol. carollook.com/power-up. And you'll learn about that, get signed up, and get started next Tuesday. It'll be, the dates are 3 Tuesdays in a row, the same time. So yes. With a slightly different room, but we'll meet here on Zoom.
Great. And again, you have access to all the materials afterwards. So it's not like, oh my gosh, I missed it and what happened? You get the replay. You can listen to a call again. You can fast forward, you can go backwards, these materials will be available to you forever. Okay, so it's really important. So you might make tremendous progress on one issue at work, and then you say, hey, wait a minute, I need to be clear about a decision with a family member, and you go back, right? So We want to apply this to every part of your life. So power up. It really feels good to me. It really feels like it's time. And as I say, a lot of you have said, oh, could you please do a price point and a shorter version of what you do, because you don't have access. It's not possible for you unless it's shorter and the price point is lower. So I hope this helps, and let me know if you have any questions, but we will also send out that link, as Rick said, in our follow-up with this replay for the webinar. All right, I'm ready, Rick.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to try whoever is a 900 in the list. I can't unmute you because you don't have your mic connected up. So if you fix that, we'll come back to you. Right now, Paula. Paula G. Paula G.
Hi. Hello.
Hey, Paula, how are you?
Hi, Carol. I'm great. Thank you. How are you?
Good. You're here with 3 people.
Yeah, we're at work. We're on our lunch break.
Awesome. Awesome. What can I help you with?
So, my issue has been I want to make more money, and I feel like I'm blocking that. So that's what I would like to work on.
Good. All right. So here's the simple questions to ask, Paula, just to get you going and get the juices going. What is the upside of not making more money and not being clear? How does that serve you? How does it help you to block it? I know it sounds crazy, but I promise you it's going on.
What is the upside of not making more money?
What's the upside of blocking yourself? What does it do for you? What does it protect you from?
Oh, I think it's keeping me from putting myself out there,
Yes.
being seen and heard.
Okay, so now the next phase of that question is, if you said out loud, I'm afraid to put myself out there, say that.
I'm afraid to put myself out there.
Because if I do.
Because if I do.
What's the risk?
They may not like what I'm sharing.
Okay, how high distress signal do you get on they may not like what I'm sharing if I put myself out there? How much?
A 10.
Okay. Okay, everybody. If you're a 10 of putting yourself out there, there is no way on this green earth that you can put yourself out there because the brain won't let you. So that's why it's a good reason. You know, I put that in my newsletter, a rational reason. Paula, it's a rational reason to protect yourself and to keep sabotaging and blocking yourself because you're afraid they won't like you, and it's a 10. So that means it's that important to you. Everybody follow this? You would not sabotage and block yourself if there weren't a good reason. Paula just gave us the best reason ever. She's a 10 at fear they will not like her. Why? You can't do it. It's like asking a 1-year-old to run the New York City Marathon. It's not happening. Okay? So everybody tap along with Paula here, please. And Paula, of course, not being liked has to have history or else it wouldn't be such a big one for you. Mm-hmm. Side of the hand. Even though I'm afraid they won't like me.
Even though I'm afraid they won't like me.
So I won't put myself out there.
So I won't put myself out there.
It's not really about money, is it?
It's not really about money, is it?
I accept who I am and how I feel.
I accept how I am and how I feel.
Even though I've never done 3 at once like this on a Zoom, this is awesome. Even though I'm afraid they won't like me if I'm visible.
Even though I'm afraid they won't like me if I'm visible.
No wonder I sabotage myself.
No wonder I sabotage myself.
I deeply and completely accept myself anyway.
I deeply and completely accept myself anyway.
2 fingers, dominant hand, eyebrow point. I'm afraid they won't like me.
I'm afraid they won't like me.
Side of the eye, if I'm visible, they won't like me.
If I'm visible, they won't like me.
Under the eye, and I have an issue with being liked.
And I have an issue with being liked.
Under the nose, no wonder I sabotage my success.
No wonder I sabotage my success.
Chin, I'm afraid to get out there.
I'm afraid to get out there.
Collarbone, because maybe they won't like me.
Maybe they don't like me.
Under the arm, and that terrifies me.
And that terrifies me.
Top of that, no wonder I won't get out there.
No wonder I won't get out there.
No wonder I block my abundance.
No wonder I block my abundance.
Deep breath, nice way to complete a round. Paula, there's no right or wrong answer. How did that feel to you?
I feel like it's lower to at least a 7 or 6. And it just feels silly. I'm thinking, this is so silly.
Okay, silly but true. So a lot of us have challenges and conflicts that are silly, in air quotes, but true. What you gave us, Paula, that was so clear was that it was a 10. You were that afraid of being visible, vulnerable, taking a risk. So of course, I want you to understand this point, of course you have to sabotage yourself because safety is a human being's #1 priority.
Mm-hmm.
7,
That makes sense.
you'll be different at dinner tonight at a 7 compared to a 10. So everybody stop looking for the 10 to go to a 0. We love zeros, okay? But guess what? 10 to a 7, fabulous. And it might keep going down. And then, Paula, you've got some more homework to do. Keep tapping on, what if they don't like me? What about what happened last time? There's obviously a last time, like I did with Issy.
Okay.
There must be a last time, or else this wouldn't be an issue. Until you find it so silly that you're afraid of being liked that you don't care. And that you start saying, some of them aren't going to like me, so what? Then you can take a risk. Then you can bother making a mistake. It doesn't matter, right? Once the history is cleared, it doesn't matter.
Thank you.
Okay?
I appreciate that.
Awesome. Good, Paula, glad you were here. Bye. And bye to your office mates. Great. Thank you.
All right. And 900. Oh, we got some echo going on. See if you can turn down your speaker volume.
Yes. Is that better?
It is.
Okay.
And speak up yourself a little bit.
Okay. Hi, Carol. Thank you very much.
Hi, who's this?
Hi. This is Michelle.
Hi, Michelle. How are you?
Hi. I'm well. Thank you. So my husband of close to 30 years has demanded a divorce. And I'm trying to get clarity on whether or not I'm responsible and also on how this is really for my best. And I'm very muddled about that.
Okay. So the first thing you need to be clear on, I would say, Michelle, is the feeling. Don't try to solve it yet. Okay. The feeling, shock. How do you feel? How do you feel about his demand?
About the decision?
The demand for a divorce.
Oh, the demand. Angry.
Angry.
Betrayed.
Okay. Okay. So Michelle, I understand you go, because I do this too. I understand you going to, yes, but what's the positive and the upside of it? I want you to get clear on the anger and the betrayal first, or else you will always cloud those other 2 questions you have.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, everybody? If you try to jump the tracks to, there must be something wonderful and positive about this terrible decision, you will cut off your ability to feel and be fully you, and you won't have the clarity that you're looking for. So it actually backfires.
I had to mute her. I just to let you know, I had to mute her because the feedback was coming back through the microphone channel. So I can try unmuting her again. Okay.
Okay, Michelle, follow along, please. Everybody tap with Michelle.
Okay.
Even though I'm angry and I feel betrayed. Okay, Michelle, can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm trying not to create the feedback, but is this okay?
Yes, so just repeat after me. Even though I'm angry and I feel betrayed.
Even though I'm angry and I feel betrayed.
And that's a normal reaction.
And that's a normal reaction.
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
Even though I keep trying to figure it out.
Even though I keep trying to figure it out.
And I'm trying to blame myself.
And I'm trying to blame myself.
I accept who I am and that I'm angry.
I accept who I am, and then I'm angry.
Eyebrow point, I didn't see it coming.
I didn't see it coming.
Side of the eye, I feel totally betrayed.
I feel totally betrayed.
Under the eye, I feel angry.
I feel angry.
Under the nose, no wonder it's hard to be clear about whose fault it is.
No wonder it's hard to be clear about whose fault it is.
Chin, and of course it can't be all my fault.
And of course it can't be all my fault.
Collarbone, there were two of us in this relationship.
There are two of us in this relationship.
Under the arm, so maybe that's not what I need to get clear about.
So maybe that's not what I need to get clear about.
Top of that, I need to honor and validate my feelings.
I need to honor and validate my feelings.
And then I can get clear.
And then I can get clear.
Deep breath. Michelle, was it a total shock to you?
Yes.
Okay. So when you've been shocked and traumatized, that's what you need to work on before you try to figure anything out. So everybody, a decision from your boss, your spouse, your friend, your neighbor, your child, anything. You must take care of that bundle of feelings first of the, what? That's what you need to take care of first. Don't jump over that. Don't jump into the, I shouldn't be angry. You're angry, end of story, right? Give yourself airtime for that. Then you can start saying, whose fault was it? And then you're gonna say, well, of course it wasn't all my fault. It can't be, but you're asked, right? You were skipping the feelings, so you were actually asking a nonsensical question, which was it my fault? How can it be your fault? Takes two to tango, Michelle. So
Okay.
betrayal and anger, the first two feelings you identified. Anything feel worse than feeling betrayed? I don't think so. So that's your homework, betrayal, anger, until you go, well, maybe it will work out, but I'm in shock and now I'm coming out of shock. That's a good thing. But everybody, don't skip over the shock to try to figure it out. I've done that, trust me. It doesn't work. The shock will come back and bite you, and you won't feel like yourself. So Michelle, your homework is to really take care of yourself, which means get angry. Don't be irresponsible with it. Feel angry, be angry, get angry. Feel betrayed, get betrayed. Tap on betrayal. Talk to your friends, talk to a counselor, journal like crazy, walk, do something physical, right? Deep breath, a little meditation, tapping, and then you're going to start to see clearly, even if it still feels like, where did that come from? It's not good communication that it was a where did it come from, that suddenly you got presented with that, right? Something's going on.
Yes.
Okay, but do not dismiss your feelings of anger and betrayal first.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay. Really tough situation. You must be the one to give yourself compassion and validation. Good. Thanks,
Okay.
Michelle. Rick, if I could just use that as an example, so often we're barking up the wrong tree. So Michelle's trying to figure out if it was her fault, which is understandable, of course, but you're missing the main point, which is that you're allowed to have traumatic, awful, shocking feelings about news like that. So some of you are trying to figure out what's in your best interest, when the point is you just need to lick your wounds sometimes and say, I feel sad, I feel upset. People do this in grief. They're very quick to say, oh, well, the person's moved on. And you know what? Sometimes you need to cry a lot and feel the grief, feel the missing, feel the loss before you start to figure out where they've gone, okay? A whole segment of our self-help population has really done a lot of damage to each other trying to figure that out, instead of saying, you know what? I miss the person. They're not here. I miss my dog. I miss whatever. Just an example. So everybody, honor and validate your feelings and you will get so far, and boy, will you be clear. And anger is a clarifying emotion too. There's nothing wrong with Michelle being angry. She can't go hit the guy, but she can be angry. She can be frustrated and angry and shocked. It's true. It's real. Good. What time
I think
we got?
that we have right at the top of the hour, and we allowed for a little bit of flexibility. Did you want to take another volunteer, or did you want to say some closing thoughts?
I want to take one or two more volunteers. Closing thoughts is about Power Up. Is this coaching program, this opportunity to work with me, shorter time frame, lower price point, really clear, as Rick said, dropping into these issues, clarity, alignment, and inspired action will be awesome for all of us. We'll have a good time. And you get the materials forever. So carollook.com/power-up. It's just after 4. Let's take at least one more, Rick, if we can do a quick one.
Okay. Ginger, let's see if I can get you unmuted. You may need to unmute yourself, perhaps. There we go. And you can turn on your video if you'd like or not.
Not sure how to do that. I plugged in my little camera here. Okay, start my video. Oh, okay. Hello.
Hello.
Oh boy, do we love technology when it works. Hi, Ginger.
Oh, hi.
How can I help you to tap into your power and get more clear? What's up?
I am trying to finish a paper that I've started, and I have I don't really have momentum. I have it open. I have all my materials around, and I just always end up doing everything else instead. And I'm aware that I have some resentment about doing this paper. Okay. Even though it's on a topic that I love and adore, I still have to do the literature review and sort of the, the less than fun things.
Okay. So 2 questions. So Ginger's very clear, and she knows resentment. It's a resistant feeling, and resentment can get in the way. 0 to 10, Ginger, how high is your resentment about having to do all the work for this paper?
Oh boy. Well, I'm going to let myself give it a 9 right now.
Okay. If the brakes are on, you're not going to move forward, and resentment at a 9 is pretty strong. The second question, Ginger, is what's the downside of succeeding, of getting the paper done? What are you not liking about success and completing it?
Oh, boy. I've been at this so long, it's sort of like, who will I be?
Perfect. Okay, so an identity issue. Some of you have identity issues with health and illness and weight loss issues and abundance issues. I had a client who would always say he was the poor one in his family and the screw up. That's what they called him, air quotes, screw up. So he said, who am I going to be if I'm successful? So 2 very distinct tappable issues, Ginger, really clear, but we're going to work on the resentment, okay?
Okay.
If you feel resentful about something, money, people who have money, health, people who have health, that you have to work hard, you're going to be having the brakes on at one time at the same time as you've got your foot on the gas pedal, okay?
Right.
All right, Ginger, side of the hand. Even though I feel so resentful about having to do this paper.
Even though I feel so resentful about having to do this paper.
It's in my cells.
It is in my cells.
I have felt resentful for a long time.
I have felt this resentment for a long time.
I deeply and profoundly love and accept myself.
I deeply and profoundly love and accept myself.
Even though I don't think I should be resentful.
Even though I don't think I should be resentful.
So sometimes I pretend I'm not.
Sometimes I pretend I'm not.
The truth is, I really feel resentful.
The truth is, I really feel resentful.
And it's hard to accept that about myself.
It is hard to accept that about myself.
Good. 2 fingers, dominant hand, eyebrow point. I feel so resentful about this paper.
I feel so resentful about this paper.
Side of the eye, no wonder I'm not clear.
No wonder I'm not clear.
Under the eye, no wonder I do anything but.
No wonder I do anything but.
Even though I feel so resentful.
I feel so resentful.
Chin, it makes me a little rebellious.
It makes me a little rebellious.
Collarbone, no wonder I won't move forward.
No wonder I won't move forward.
Under the arm, no wonder I'm interrupting my own power.
No wonder I'm interrupting my own power.
Top of the head, I have all this resentment and it's blocking my clarity.
I have all this resentment and it's blocking my clarity.
Good, deep breath. Good. How's the 9? I feel resentful about this paper.
Well, I feel a little shaky. You know, if something moved, I don't know. It's probably to a different number, but I don't really know what it is.
Sometimes, Ginger, what we measure is a physiological response to the tapping, and feeling shaky, even though it's uncomfortable, it means we've got something moving in the system, and we like that, okay? So your homework is to keep working on the resentment, and wouldn't it make someone shaky to feel like they're changing their identity?
Yes.
Right? So if your identity will change when you produce this paper finally, it's going to upset the apple cart. So feeling shaky is okay, even if it's uncomfortable, everybody.
Got it.
Okay, Ginger, you got some homework to do.
Okay, thank you so much, Carol. Thank you, Rick.
All right, everybody, thank you so much. These were incredibly clear and diverse examples of why we get in our own way, why we sabotage ourselves. There's an upside to being unclear and a downside to being clear and taking the next steps. If you guys want to move forward and have an opportunity to coach with me, please check out carollook.com/power-up. It's here on your board, and we'll send it to you in the recording, the replay recording. Thank you, Rick, as always, for your incredible support here. I had a good time. I love talking to all of you and seeing a lot of your names here, so thank you for joining. And I look forward to seeing those of you who join me in Power Up starting next week. All right, everybody. Thank you. Take care.